A small town deep in rural America, surrounded by endless fields, had no idea that this night would change it forever. Marcus Hill, a farmer and father of three, sat on the porch of his old house, staring up at the sky. The stars shone too brightly, and it seemed like there were more of them. His thoughts were interrupted by a strange hum coming from somewhere in the east. The hum grew louder, like some giant grinder tearing through the air. "What the hell?" Marcus muttered as the ground beneath his feet began to vibrate. A crackling sound echoed from the cornfield. Grabbing a flashlight and his old shotgun, Marcus headed toward the noise. Halfway there, a smell hit him, burned flesh and blood, sharp and sickening. His heart began to race. When the beam of his flashlight cut through the darkness, Marcus barely held back his vomit. In the middle of the field lay something massive and smoking, like a mangled metal cocoon. Nearby were the remains of cows from his herd. Guts and organs were strewn across the grass, as if they'd exploded from the inside out. Marcus stepped forward, his boot squelching in a pool of blood. At that moment, something moved inside the cocoon. There was a crunch of breaking bones and a wet squelching, like something forcing its way through sticky flesh. Suddenly, the creature burst out of the cocoon. It was thin, with long arms and sharp claws. Its mouth opened into rows of teeth, and its tongue was long and forked. Pieces of raw meat clung to its gray, slime-covered skin. The alien let out a wild scream. The sound was piercing, like the wail of dying animals. Marcus fired his shotgun, but the creature darted toward him with unnatural speed. It plunged its claws into his chest and ripped outward. Marcus managed only a short cry before his body was torn in half. Blood sprayed the ground, soaking the corn in crimson. Hearing the commotion, Marcus's wife, Sarah, ran out of the house. She froze at the sight of the monster, then screamed. With one leap, the creature was on her. It grabbed her head with its hands and squeezed until her skull cracked like a walnut. Red streaks dripped down the monster's face as it licked its fangs. Meanwhile, the children inside the house began to cry. The creature turned toward the house. Moments later, screams echoed from the windows, followed by a wet, chomping sound. Then everything went silent. At dawn, the neighbors found the Hill family home empty. Blood ran in streams down the porch steps, and the crater in the field had turned into a black hole, as if the earth itself tried to swallow the horror that had occurred. Now, no one lives in that town. People say that on moonless nights, you can see the silhouette of the alien at the site of the old farm. And from the darkness comes the sound of chewing teeth and the cries of children.